let's get right into it, Rob. I don't know. I mean, are you blaming somebody for this? No baseball.
Well,
and what they've said so far is right. The owner said they're not gonna play the first two series.
Right, which is the first
season.
week. You know, that's usually a 3-game series.
Which is odd because that means teams will have different, like one team might miss 5 games, one might miss 7. It's just, you know what I mean? That's odd that their teams may end up playing odd number of games.
We've had that before. We've had that before where it's by percentage because of games missed, Chris. So that's the only way you can do it because of series. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so because baseball is played in 3 or 4 game series or 2 games, you have to go by series, not by number of games. Because then you might send somebody to Pittsburgh for 1 game because originally they had a 4-game series. So that's why they do it that way. But anyway, you know, I mean, there's plenty of blame to go around. And you know this. We both are players, guys. I respect I mean,
I am. I'm starting to wonder.
No, but I'm going to say this. I have mad respect for the baseball union, Chris. It's the best union in the United States. Forget about pro sports. Yes.
It has been. No, it became that, in the 60s and 70s.
I'm just talking about all the stuff that they get. Yes. And when you look at what the players have and guaranteed contracts and lifetime health care and all kinds of other perks and stuff that other leagues, they never had a salary cap, where the other sports have had salary caps for 30 years, Chris. They've never had that because the players have fought against it. They've won a lot of battles and they fought for a lot of things. And there's a lot of money out there. Baseball, contrary to popular belief, has never been healthier financially. I'm talking about money-wise. It's a $10.5 billion business, and you got to figure out a way to split it between the two sides. And I know Rob Manfred, the commissioner, Chris, is getting killed today, and he's the worst.
This isn't Rob Manfred, though.
Thank you.
These are the owners and the players.
He works for them, Chris. Right. He works for the owners, and people have to understand that. He has marching orders.
Right.
This is what we want. This is what we're not giving into. Like, this is, and as a commissioner, it's a slippery slope because you don't oversee the entire game on both sides. Right. That's why there's a union chief, right? Tony Clark.
He's not I don't think he's a great commissioner, but this isn't on him. As much as people are trying to blame him.
To totally blame him.
Right.
But I just wonder as you know, times have changed and where people are, Chris, mentally, financially, just where we are in the world, I think it's harder and harder for people to look at guys making millions of dollars playing ball and feel sympathy or feel not that they don't have a case on certain things. So I'm not saying they don't have a case and they shouldn't have the right to negotiate a new CBA and work for it. But I'm talking about the average Joe who finds it harder and harder to buy into this notion like poor players and they're getting raked over the coals. And every year we see 4 or 5 guys get $300 million contracts. So I think there's a fine line, Chris, inside the details that the players have a right, but the bigger picture that most people see does not shed positive light on the players. And it becomes a thing of how much is enough? What else do you want? And I think that's what it is. It's not the entire reality because I don't
think that's the reality at all.
You know,
I mean, first of all, I get it. We're in a pandemic, or hopefully we seem to be maybe coming out of it. And that has heightened people's sensibilities to that. But people always feel this way. When we're not in a pandemic, when times are booming and there's a strike or a lockout or players want more, fans always feel this way. Because the bottom line is they look at you as a guy making millions of dollars playing a kid's game. Playing a game that most of us or many of us played as kids. Right. And we would gladly play for, if we could play it for a living, for free, we do it if we could, pay our bills. Right, but now you're making millions of dollars. But my point is this, Rob. I think the fans, even though that's how they tend to look at it, regardless of the sport, they tend to blame the players. You know why? because the players' contracts are publicized in the newspapers, on the websites, talked about on the TV and radio shows, not what the owners make. So you're right. Yeah, we look at it like, man, you're millionaires. You got it made. What more do you want? Guess who they're fighting against? Billionaires. What more do the billionaires want? I mean, the billionaires don't even make their money by and large off of the sports. The billionaires have made their money elsewhere. The team is a hobby for them.
For many,
and they're still fighting against the players. So the players are the ones that don't have the money, relatively speaking, in this battle between millionaires and billionaires. So I think for those fans who are looking at the players and blaming the players, I think that's off. I think that's short-sighted because the owners have way more money than the players, and they're playing hardball just as much, if not more, than the players are.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that point, and that's why I said there's a difference between reality and what people see as reality and the bottom line or inside the details of a contract. So I agree with that. But that's not how most people look at it, only from the standpoint of, Chris, I think you brought up a good point. We've all played baseball. We all could relate to that. But we can't all relate to being an owner of something and managing. Now, I've been a business owner, okay, for a long time.
Well, it's a different viewpoint when you're an owner.
Right. I run businesses, and I know, the sacrifice that I had to give, Chris, and I had to take money from my family and my thing to pay bills, to get things started. It ain't always automatic. So I do understand that you make an investment to try to get something started. And I don't think that it's that owners should just say, oh, okay, no matter what, here you go. Whatever you want, we'll just give you whatever you want.
No, but here's the thing.
But that's not how business works.
You said taking your money to get something started. Which one of these owners did that? The teams are appreciating in value.
Yeah, but
the last 4 years, I know they had the pandemic and all that, but they didn't play the players, but for 60 games?
Yeah, and but they lost a lot of money that
No,
year.
they lost, but they a lot of times, and here's a dirty little secret. Across the sports, at least I know the NBA better, but I'm sure it happens at least sometimes in other sports. There are times when an owner loses money during the season, right? But you make your money as an owner generally on the appreciation of your franchise. And when you sell it for a huge gain over what you bought it for. So that's why, look, the game has still been making money. The salaries have gone down over the last few years, relatively speaking. So what are the owners, why are they being so tight-fisted with the players? Like, I do think that, and look, both of them, for the average citizen, it's millionaires versus billionaires. So you're like, look, they're all making much more than me.
Right. That's why
I do agree with you, Rod, that most people do blame players. But I don't think that's right.
No,
I think we blame the players because that's who we know, that's who we follow, that's who we want to see.
We do know more about them. We don't know. We don't know that the Yankees get $400 million, Chris, from the Yes Network every year. Right. So imagine the Yankees' payroll is $200 million. Okay, they get $400 million for TV, local TV rights. There's radio rights. There's signage in the stadium, right? There's tickets, hot dogs, parking. The money adds up. They've already made $200 million before they even sold a ticket. So there is money there, and the owners are making a lot. But I do believe that there's a point, even with when you own a business compared to someone working for you, that you just don't turn over the keys and say, oh, yeah, I made enough, take whatever you want.
You don't do that. Right. Yeah, you don't do that. And look, there are players. I mean, Michael Jordan was, we remember, Rob, the 98, 99 lockout. And Jordan was right at the center of it. It was right before he retired the second time. And then he becomes an owner eventually. And so he's seen it at both sides.
At both
right?
sides.
And it is
Absolutely.
different. I get it. It's different when you're an owner. But I just think that the owners aren't, their hands aren't clean.
No,
their
I
hands
didn't say that.
dirty, too.
I agree
think
with
even
that.
dirtier than the players are.
But I think when you look at baseball players, Chris, compared to their other contemporaries,
well, basketball players are doing fine too.
right?
You
But I'm
can't-
talking
you
about
can't say that
still.
about basketball.
I'm talking about, but still, they've
Football
always
is the one that gets housed.
like when you look at what football players, Chris, would die to have the deal that baseball players have now. Would die to have that deal. Forget about the new deal and what they want. They would die to have what they have. And I'm not saying baseball players should just be satisfied. They have some really good points on things that they want to accomplish. But deep down, you can't damage the sport to a point where, on both sides, that you're going to have some collateral damage. So you're talking about salaries going down. If we miss a month or two or whatever, or the season, it can change the
Well, that's
landscape.
going to be an
forever.
argument now because the players want to get paid for these games they're going to miss.
That's going to be an argument because the players are going to say, the owner's going to say, we're not making up any games.
Exactly.
And that it is what it is. And here's the other part. That's going to be another sticking point as we move forward. But definitely, we want to hear from everybody.